The fourth line, obviously they've had scored
Yeah.
goals here this season. What's been your message to them, and what's been behind maybe the thought process in deploying them? Because I know they took that shift late in the second period.
Third or second?
They took one late in the second, and then they took one late in the third, too, I guess. What's the thought process behind when you're looking for a goal?
So what's the late in the second? I don't understand the second period. I don't get.
30 seconds left. Ozone draw.
Okay.
Hathaway drew that penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it comes down to, I'm a culture guy, right? The one I'm talking about, I can't remember the second. You have guys dragging tongues on the bench, and our team is a team that needs to use the bench. These guys are playing 8-9 minutes. I thought a couple games ago they gave us some juice. Yeah, they're struggling. They want to get some points. I get it. We're playing long ball here, trying to get the team culture. It's hard to play armchair quarterback. Why can't you do this one or that? I got some guys are tired on the bench. I don't feel it's the right time. I've heard some people, it's better to put this guy in this and that. I think that's bullshit, personally. This is a team thing. I'm a culture guy, and we're building culture here. That's why.
Yeah,
so.
Just to clarify, when you heard...
Well, 5 minutes left. Why do I have a fourth line out there? So why not? We have tired guys. Some guys had a minute and a half shift. I'm looking at two guys. Guys are tired. One guy came off early. I got to get a shift out of the guys. They're NHL players. Maybe you guys don't think, I'm not saying you personally, don't think they are. So I feel, put them out there. That's what I believe in.
Are they doing enough other things?
No, listen, they got to produce. I get it. They don't have point. I get that part, and we're going to have to figure something out. But in the meantime, that's what we have, and that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm trying to build their confidence. I don't read tweets. I don't listen to podcasters. I'd be out of a job. I'm just, that's just the way it is.
No, that's why I asked.
Yeah. No, I'm not blaming you. It's a good question. I agree. That's it. That's my answer.
Rick, it looked like Ty Murchison was with Jolson today. I'm not sure if he'll get his NHL debut.
Yeah.
But what have been the reports on him?
He's a type of guy, a culture guy. Like, he really, when he came into camp, I didn't know who he was. Todd knew him a little bit from their ASU and stuff like that, where he played. I thought from the day one, and I don't think we gave him an exhibition game, he was really impressing me in practice. He was pissing guys off. He was blowing up guys on cycles and stuff like that. And he's played really well. I talked to Snowy. He's a guy that deserves to come up and get a shot. That's what we're trying to build around here. Guys that are competitive. I don't know how he's going to play. I don't know but I do know he's competitive, and he skates well. I think he deserves a shot. That's how we build crests around here.
So with regards to Murchison, you mentioned about
Yeah.
Snowden. Have they really liked what he's been doing down there?
Yeah, Snowy, my feeling on Snowy, a really good coach. And we talked, Todd talked to Schultze, the D coaches do a good job down there, and they felt that he was a guy that's really consistently has brought, his game to, competitive every night. We're looking, I've talked to you guys about, we got to squash plays, we got to come up with some battle, and he's one of those guys that hopefully he can do it for us. I don't know, but I think you got to give him a shot.
Is the compressed schedule, a bit of a challenge in year one?
Compressed?
The compressed, is it, I heard 10 games in 17 days, right? Obviously,
Yeah, everybody's got to go through it. You got to go through that stuff, and that's why, and I know what you're saying, Kev, but that's why you got to use the bench. That's why, you got to use certain things because of that compressed schedule. It's a long game, and then you're trying to build confidence.
You talk about building culture. Do you like how Ty Murchison was a fifth-round pick, and he's really developed and grown his game, and he didn't start playing hockey until he was, or ice hockey, I should say, until he was 11 years old.
Yeah.
He was playing roller up until then.
Yeah, I love those stories. I love like the sixth-round pick or the free agent or the guy that doesn't, he doesn't make the NHL until he's 27 and ends up making a career of himself. Yeah, you root for the underdog. So it's good for the room, right? They see a guy like that working his way up. It puts other people on notice. That's how you build competitive in that locker room. The competitive balance in the locker room.
Rick, going back to the fourth line,
Yeah.
I want to talk about Garnet Hathaway in
Sure.
particular. This is a guy who, for a long time
Yeah.
has been, an above-average bottom sixer at the NHL level. That's been his role, and it's 27 games now.
I know.
He doesn't have a point. I guess, maybe you have more experience dealing with younger guys when they're struggling, but when you have a vet who's struggling, how do you approach that as a coach?
Yeah, it's a good question because, he's out of sorts. He'll tell you. He's had a tough time this year. For me, he's such a great team guy, and he knows it, that he wants to do better things. A lot of his things, and even with the fourth line, is be able to hold on to pucks and make plays right under pressure. I just don't want the fourth line slapping pucks around. And it's hard to do, right? But it's something that Hath he hasn't found that consistency every game where be able to hold a puck or whatever. He had that chance. Like things are a little bit. For him, I think he's just got to relax. I think when he wants to go out there, he's so tense that it's kind of screwing up, his hands and stuff. Like it just seems a little out of sorts. How, as a coach, do I help him? Try to get him some ice time, put him in some situations where maybe he can succeed. But there is going to be a time where, and I agree with you guys. Like we're going to have to retool that fourth line if it doesn't start to help us out. I get it. I mean, that's something that we're talk to Danny and Jonesy all the time about. So we got to figure that out. But in the meantime, I got to try to get these guys some confidence.
Is it a bit of a no-win situation at times as a coach where you're hearing you got to get this guy more minutes, but
Yeah.
you try to get more
Oh, I
minutes
hear it.
and you're getting too much minutes? It's like, or bad situations.
Yeah, of course, everybody wants more minutes. I get it. But there's situational stuff. There's certain guys that can play against McKinnon, some can't. It's just the way it is. And there's some people that, we're trying to play a high-level game of speed and stuff like that. Some guys, after a couple of shifts, are a little bit tired. Quite frankly. So there's a lot to it than just looking at minutes. I don't. Yeah, the sheets we look at, but I can tell who's got it sometimes, who doesn't. But there's sometimes after a game, I go, oh man, I lost this guy. I should have him on the ice more. Yeah, that's on me. I got to own that part. But most of the time, if we're going to go far with this, we're going to get the right people in the right situations. But it's a team effort. We're not a 3-line team. We gotta get the fourth line. Like this is, even Colorado. I know they play McKinnon tough. Their fourth line's pretty good. If they're going to win the Stanley Cup, Bennett will tell you they're going to need their fourth line. So no different than us.
Talking about yesterday's game.
Yeah.
It was abundantly clear that the third period was your guys' best period. Christian
Yeah.
Warwick after the game said if we would have played that way the whole game, we
Yeah.
would have gotten 2 points. But I mean, how much of that was what you guys were doing well, and how much of that was the fatigue building up for Colorado? I guess when you looked at the tape.
Yeah, listen, they have 3 and 4, right? But we've been in that situation before. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm going to play the card. I thought we played well, but yeah, I understand they were a little bit tired. We just didn't take advantage of. There were situations. I think and I think early on we were kind of a couple of guys were like, oh my God, there's McCarr, and what do? You back up instead of pressing forward. I think in the third we were like, we got to play. It didn't matter who was across the ice. That's the mentality we have to have after the national anthem starts, not in the third period when we're down by a goal or two. I think we have to start as soon as the national anthem's over. We got to be right into that thought process. But yeah, I mean, you try to take advantage of a tired team. We didn't because we had missed opportunities, so many missed opportunities. Even with the goalie pulled, even that power play. That's where we have to get better.
Did you go over those 3 missed plays today?
Yeah, that was our presentation, missed opportunities, and that's what I love about this group. I mean, we had a really spirited practice, and they own it. I mean, it was a good practice today, and they understand. But it's hard, under pressure. You kind of lose the sense sometimes. That Colorado has 3 guys high. When you get that, why would you go high with it? Now you take it to the net. Like these are the things that under pressure it should be organically happening, and we're trying to find that. And there's been pockets this year. I mean, we got a pretty good record. I mean, I don't think we're satisfied, but I think we had a pretty good record. And we've had pockets of our game where we're like, we like our team, but there's pockets of our game where we got to get to another level if we want to go where we want to go. So every day you got to strive for that.
You talk about needing to retool the fourth line, but how much, with Garnett, and I think even Rodrigo's been playing a little bit with the penalty kill, like how much does that kind of play into keeping them on the ice?
Yeah, I think, we got to find, you can't have a fourth line that doesn't do it, like doesn't penalty kill or power. I don't think in the long run, you might get away with it for a little bit. I think fourth line guys have to have something, whether it's some kind of PK or some kind of, skill. I think you have to have it. You can't just be neutral, right, or do nothing. So that's why I wanted to get Hath, and I got a little bit more on the PK to take some minutes. So you're not burning out Kuths, or you're not burning out TK or Catesy, because, if they're playing 17, 18 minutes and they got to kill penalties, it's tough. So that's why I got to get that fourth line out there. I mean, to penalty kill.
Are you a coach that gives jobs? Like everyone has a penalty kill job or a power play job or
In what sense? Like
sometimes, you have your roster, your 18 guys, and everyone kind of knows, okay, if the penalty kills up, I might not be like the first or second pairing for the penalty kill, but there's a chance I could.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You give everyone a job.
Yeah.
With this specialty.
Yeah, that's why like the last, don't quote me, but the last 10 games I've had Abs go out there more on the PK. I got, and he's actually been okay. So can we grow his, grow his PK hockey IQ and the way he can be out there? Yeah, that'll be huge for us. It'll give us, some of our players, more chance on the offensive end to play offense than PK. Now I got to try to score a goal. It's tough. It's tough sledding the PK and power play and 5-on-5, and then maybe check the best team. That's another thing. So that's what you're looking at when you got those guys PKing.
Jet Lashenko and
Last
Warner
one.
Martone were named to Canada's roster today for World Juniors. You've played for Canada
Yeah.
in big tournaments. How important is it for a player's development to have these?
I think it's huge to play for your country and that high level. Like some of these players are just phenomenal. The junior players coming up to be in that, it's fast paced. The pressure. I mean, it just helps your growth go up. So that's a nice feather in the cap for the Flyers to have a couple of high level guys like that play for Canada.